So, the last dream I had before I woke up this morning was us doing the show. And of course, it's at your house, but of course, it's not really your house. And the wacky situation that's going on all around. And I'm not even going to go into it, but dreams are so fucking weird. And you're sitting there, I'm like, hey, Colleen, that's strange. And you're like, what? And you're like pointing out the features. Basically, one of them was like, look at this new game. It's from China. And it was like a miniature golf course that involved...
my house.
Outside of your house.
Oh, okay.
But then there's a giant swimming pool with a lazy river and people tubing. But you were like hitting the mini golf balls into these like things that opened and closed over the pool. It was this crazy thing. Oh, yeah. And it was all decorated. You're like, isn't that neat? And I'm like... okay.
Yeah.
And then people showed up on scene and oh God. And I woke up going, I'm pretty sure that's not what Colleen's backyard looks like.
No, my front and backyard is filled with flowers and gardens and
not a miniature golf course?
No, not a miniature golf course.
Okay.
And I was gone for a bit and I came home to a jungle.
Oh, really?
It is it's beautiful, but I'm like,
the rain? Did the flowers do well?
The rain. And I had a sprinkler set up too. So part of the time I'm like, I think I'm watering during the rain, but it would have been too much work for my mom to go back and forth. So I didn't have her do that.
Yeah.
And I came home and I'm just looking at my yard going, you can't see any of the mulch area of the garden now. Everything has grown so huge.
Cool.
It's just beautiful.
That's awesome.
So it just came home. It was so welcoming, and it's a nice, it's a nice place to be, a little sanctuary.
I love flowers,
even in the city. Mm-hmm.
I've become a complete and total addict for this local place that is this huge lawn and garden place here in Girtons. I live... That's where
I got... that's where the place... They also do wholesale.
Yeah.
So when I had my place, Sunnyside, they bought some... they had me go to their site and pick out... Because I was tired of Stella d'Oro. I mean, if folks are yellow, just the regular yellow Dalo, I wanted something different. So I've got some peach ones and pink ones and rumpled edge ones and all that sort of shit. And that's where they said to go get them. And those are just starting to bloom now. We're at the beginning of July here, and and now I'm finally going to get a chance to go to some farmers markets. Well, the next day or two, I'm actually going to go to Chicago and look at schools with my daughter.
Oh, nice. Okay. So, is she gravitating towards the Chicago area?
Yeah, she would, she doesn't want to go anywhere. And I think I probably mentioned this before, where there's hurricanes, earthquakes, or cornfields.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah. She's
thought this through.
Yeah. Well, we did the world's widest college tour when she was a sophomore. We looked at Winona State, Luther, and Iowa State, and it was over the MEA weekend, here in Minnesota. So all the Minnesotans are down there. We're going through there, and my daughter really doesn't want to be the only POC in a classroom. Mm. I mean, we live in Minneapolis, but that still occasionally happens at the school she goes to, and she's like, no, I'd like to, So she's really gravitating towards some Chicago area schools and for some stuff she wants to do. So we're going to be driving down there looking at schools.
It's not that terribly far away from home.
No. But she's still going to have to, figure things out, but she's excited.
Yeah.
About it. It's, it's scary, but she's excited about it. And I can't believe, for all the folks over the earth, I have, honestly, and I don't know if you remember if your schools or any schooling you did, I have no memory of the process that I had choosing the school that I went to. I was wholly unprepared for college. There was no reason I should have gone, but I did, and it took me almost 6 years to get through, but I did it. But I was wholly unprepared. And I'm like, the amount of work that is involved in choosing schools now and all this sort of stuff is just fascinating.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God. I don't remember visiting any schools or doing any of that sort of stuff. And the amount... when I got back from the most recent trip, I expected the majority of the mail that, I had heard is postcards from schools. Yeah. It's ones that she's like, how did they get my name? It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's a little creepy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. A little stalkery.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I went to junior college and then I kind of knew where I wanted to go after that and slid in. Mm-hmm. So,
But it's absolutely fascinating, and thank God I only have to do this once.
Yes, yes, indeed. Well, there's something that I hope you never do. Mm-hmm. And I think this story came from you. There was a man, he was a 50-year-old Chinese man, who had a really interesting idea for curing his constipation. Do you remember this one? You sent it to me. Okay, yeah.
I try to just blank everything out over there. now I'm coming back to a stack of stuff on my desk.
Well,
so what did I send you?
You sent me a guy, this 50-year-old Chinese man, had been suffering from abdominal pain and constipation for 2 days. And I would love to know the thought process here. So to try to, as a cure, he thought, well, let's just shove an eggplant up my ass. Let's try that. Because that's what I think of. How about you, Colleen? I'm not kidding you. So
he ended up this. Oh my God!
Funny.
I may have. I'm not even sure I had a chance to click on it. Just the headline on it entertained me so well.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, it made the pain and discomfort worse, and also let's add some nausea and vomiting to the mix. So he ended up having to go to the hospital, and there's the big old eggplant up there. So they had to operate, and they measured the eggplant 30 centimeters long. That's like a foot.
That isn't one of it isn't one of those tiny little Japanese eggplants that you see.
No, this is like full on
like you see the all diced up and then you see in stir fry. This is a full size, more one that we would roast here and use for like eggplant parmesan and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I live what?
The thought. You're right. The thought process is just. I mean, you really do wish that you could somehow witness
how they got from point A to point B, and thinking that was a good idea.
Yeah.
Map that sucker out for me, would you? Just saying.
Oh, poor guy.
So this is referred to as, or I think this is different in different parts of the country. When I left California, I actually lived in the Milwaukee area for 2 years, and they had festival season there. And we don't really have, not that I've noticed, and I would think after 20 plus years of being here in Minnesota that I would have seen evidence of this. But
every small town in Minnesota has a festival.
In Wisconsin, they're church festivals.
Oh, okay. Yes,
and mostly Catholic, in fact.
Yeah.
They do these. They get bands, and they have these
German and Polish, and
yeah.
When my dad grew up in Hamilton, their church had a festival. And it was always July 16th. I forget the name of it. And they would take the saints out and parade them around town, and clip money to them and stuff like that. But I don't think that's a big Lutheran thing. This is very Catholic, and I'm guessing some of the churches you went to were probably very Catholic.
The ones I went with were all outdoor music and booze fests with brats. That's all. And they were fundraisers for the church, festivals, whatever. So I just wondered, but yeah, I mean, I know the little communities do it, but this is an article regarding festival season, and there's something new that you can get to enhance your experience and possibly your chest. They now have bras that hold 25 ounces of alcohol with straws attached.
I don't know about you.
It's a wine rack bra, they call it.
I don't like warm booze. I do not want warm boob wine.
Okay.
One, I can't drink wine. I'm allergic to sulfates. But even so, I do not want a warm gin and tonic. I do not want warm beer. I mean, the closest thing I want to warm booze is like a Bailey's and coffee. Oh, by the way, I was... so I'm driving back. We're in... I don't know where the hell I am. Illinois. All I know is that I'm at a convenience store where you can buy booze. Okay, so it's not Minnesota. And they have these little things called booze balls now, which are round with a little, that are all flavored, and they have a pop top, like a beer can on it. And I'm like, oh, God, this is what's waiting my child?
Yeah.
Oh, God, no.
Yeah.
And so I actually I said, see this? I said, girls, your taste buds deserve better than this. If you're gonna have alcohol, do it responsibly and have something that tastes good. You are worth more than a booze ball. I'm trying to explain it. Just is going through there. But I also noticed that Bailey's makes a almond milk version now. So those of us who are lactose intolerant.
Oh, no, kidding, like the actual Bailey's people.
Bailey's people are making
Oh,
it's vegan and gluten because it's almond milk.
Well, let's try some of that.
So I'm gonna have to get a bottle of that. So, but I was just, I just, when I was younger, I didn't understand beer. And then I realized that there was dark beer because I didn't like Budweiser and Coors and all that sort of stuff. And so I realized that my German DNA wants a little more flavor, a little more substance to the beer. Sure. I still never figured out. I mean, I like gin and I like vodka. I still never really figured out scotches and bourbons. I think it's because I have such a sensitive nose that the smell, I can't. It's just overwhelming. I can't. So pretty much everything I have, if I'm going to have something with hard alcohol, it's probably going to be gin or vodka.
Mm-hmm. You like you like, what is it, Hancock gin, or what's it called?
Oh, Hendrix.
Yeah,
it's got a number, but because I found that years ago in some in different things. So I like that because it's not as sharp, not as what's that the berry that's in it, the one that's like pine,
the typical one, yeah.
Juniper berry. Oh God, okay, thank you. Okay,
and you don't like that one? I
don't mind it, but I like it. But like a bar gin, it's too much.
Okay.
If I ran in a sapphire, but my Hendrix, if I'm gonna have gin and tonic, that's gonna be my
your go-to.
Gin. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've heard that other people really like that too, and I'm like Colleen. That's Colleen's gin. Mm-hmm. I knew it started with an H. I couldn't remember. So this is a loaded question. Can your vagina get high? Well, hopefully it does on a regular basis when you have sex. But no, there's a new group of people that I haven't heard yet of, CannaSexuals. And yes, they're putting cannabis in their hoo-has.
I don't think that's going to show. Okay, I'm reading in the paper today. This is actually a cooking show on Netflix now that is cooking. The secret ingredient is not secret. It's marijuana. And I was like, I suppose, what do they do? Like soaking like a tampon in the THC oil or something and shoving it up there?
Yeah, they
I'm sorry, but these are delicate tissues. Once again, it's like the thing about
sprays and creams.
Yeah,
mostly
sprays and creams.
Yeah,
I don't see the. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Well,
I'd have to read a little bit more. I maybe. Is it just to get high, or is it medicinal?
A lot of them say that it helps lower their anxiety in the bedroom.
But wouldn't just eating a marijuana brownie do the same thing?
Yeah, I don't know why you have to involve the parts.
Versus maybe screwing up the pH down below again?
Yeah.
Okay, I have to admit I'm curious. I mean, not to do it, but just how exactly, why that method would be,
yeah. I don't know. I mean, there's different. We did a little trip and visited some dispensaries, and it was pretty interesting. We learned a lot about the different kinds of highs and things like that, and they're pretty open. The way they talk, the people there, whatever. I don't think I'd have the nerve to go, so what's the benefit of putting it on your privates? I just, I'm just not that evolved.
Well, I know that there's been lube that has like hemp in it, because stuff like that. But there's no there's no THC in it. I think that's the right chemical. It's not. I mean, I'm not.
I don't know.
I'm not sure. I mean, if it ever became legal in Minnesota, if I was someplace for me with my asthma and different things, there's no way I could inhale anymore. It would have to be edibles. Mm-hmm. But I'm pretty sure that I would not be putting anything into my cervix and vagina area. Once again, you don't know what it's going to do and mess up the it just seems no.
I'm with you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you. I don't have a judgment on marijuana or any of that kind of stuff, but I just don't think this is a good idea. Just saying.
Yeah, just have a brownie. Be happy.
Brownies make me happy.
Yeah, I mean
even regular brownies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's an entire thread. I got to stay away from Reddit. I've got to. We'll post it. You can check it out. See if you. It's addictive.
I think I may have logged in once or something like that, and I went, oh, this is not going to be good. If I want any sleep at all, I cannot. I just don't. I consider it a no-go for me.
You can't.
I will look at some of the things that other places have brought together, but I can't. No, the black hole of that would be no. I know me. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, this one is about the 2 words this particular group of women who responded love hearing during sex. 2 words.
Mm-hmm.
Good girl.
Really?
Yep. And
really?
Yeah, and the
conversation.
Really? Yes. Okay. Yes. And the conversations go from everything from, well, I'm on the submissive side, to other ones, or like, I just think it's hot and sexy, and other people saying, oh, that borderline's on creepy. But no, there's a lot of women love this. And you are surprised.
Well, things haven't, it's only been past 2 to 3 years that folks have really been working on changing some of the language that we've all grown up with. So I suppose it doesn't make,
it smacks of pedophilia to me, but
yeah, or that's what you say to your dog.
Yeah, I say it to Greta all the time.
Yeah,
good girl.
Yeah,
good girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not, hey, that's what, that's where their brain is. That's fine. But it seems a little young, or your dog. It doesn't, for me, that's where my brain goes. So that's,
But we don't judge, do we?
Okay. I might judge a little.
Okay. Another creepy dating trend. We've talked ghosting. We've talked, all that kind of stuff. This one is called the 3-second rule. 3 seconds?
Okay.
It's not throw her on the ground and then pick her up within 3 seconds and she's still dateable. It's not like that. It's it's like kissing her uncontrollably for 3 seconds, like grabbing him and kissing him. And the idea is it's supposed to be like a movie star kiss and all of that. But the warnings are about when they say how to do it, well, if she protests, you have to stop and all this other kind of stuff. But I don't care who it is. I don't like being taken by that kind of surprise.
No. See, because it's not a movie thing. Because in movies, there's been like, anywhere from, if it's a real time, anywhere from like 87 minutes to like a couple of months or years of build up to the final, the 2 people kiss. Mm-hmm. Whether or not it's male, female, male, female,
mm-hmm. whatever
it is. Mm-hmm. Oh, no.
They say it's to show how into you this woman is.
No.
And one of the guys told Cosmo, I find that most of the women are into it. What about the ones that need you in the nuts?
Oh, we're serious? No. I mean, I honestly, it's probably, I wouldn't call it a new dating trend. They've named some obnoxious behavior in attempting to legitimize.
Yeah, and make it a thing, which is kind of weird.
No, I mean, if you've been seeing each other for a long time, swooping in and giving someone a smooch, without anything, depending on what's going, not while you're like cooking or so. That's you got sharp, you're near hot oil or sharp knives. You got to be careful about shit. But other than that,
I got my neck nibbled the other day from behind, and it was quite fabulous, and I was perfectly fine with that. But
someone you've known for more than a date.
Yeah. Yeah, 9 years is implied consent.
Mm-hmm.
Robot story of the week.
So what do we have for the first week of July here? What's our robot story?
Yeah.
What's our first story for the second half of 2018?
Okay, there's a new version, one called Samantha, and it's, just like all the other, this is about a $5,000 doll, so it probably doesn't have the bells and whistles.
Of last week, so about 15,000.
15,000,
okay. Mm-hmm.
But this one has been designed to say no.
I think we've had another simulator, but this is a less expensive no.
Yeah.
So in other words, it teaches folks how to ask for consent. Do you have to woo this one like previous ones we've talked about?
Yep.
Woo.
Yeah.
There's a good word. I'm sorry, to woo.
Yes, I like being wooed is good.
Wooed is good.
Wooed
yeah,
is super good.
Yeah, there's you can still woo. You can be together for a long time, so wooing is good.
I love being wooed.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it was so good. On this road trip, got to hold hands for like 12 days.
Oh, did your guy go with you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, that's awesome.
Yeah, I always bring another grown-up is good. This is our 8th trip, and really, it's like holding hands.
Aw.
Yeah, we're big.
That never gets old.
No.
For me.
No. Sometimes it's a little hot, so it might have been just like pinkies.
Yeah.
You're like,
really
too
sweet.
hot. But still, it was good.
That's so cute. Mm-hmm. Well, and he always brings flowers, although I can't believe I'm not seeing any. It's a holiday week or because you've been gone.
We were going through there. Just got back. Mm-hmm.
So back to the depressing evolution of sex dolls quickly.
Okay.
This one, Samantha, has been designed to purr like a kitten and whisper endearments, but only if she's stimulated in the correct way. So this doll is helping you develop better skills. She can be switched between family, romantic, and sex settings, including an ultra raunchy, extra naughty level.
This seems like something that a couples therapy or a sex therapist or someone who's having difficulty relating to other other humans. I mean, they could make a male version of this too for folks that are having a hard time talking to. It's a practice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A non-scary practice.
Yep. And they also have sensors in this one designed to detect when touching becomes too aggressive or disrespectful, which, what does that mean in sex? That's kind of a broad range right there. But it will result in the droid becoming unresponsive. So I could see something like this maybe being used in sex therapy, like what you just said. Mm-hmm. Makes, would you like to read, if you'd like to read, because we talked last week about, and it was pretty funny, witnesses to Mile High Club attempts and acts. There's a tell-all of cruise ship employees, which I would think their stories have to be better. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I am not. I went on a cruise, and this was years ago during the first Gulf War, and there have been, with my friends, and it was, the ship that I'm on, the ship that I went on is like a third of the size of ships now. I mean, there's like 5,000 people on these things. You can't even walk from one side to another. I mean, they've got like separate cities on these things. It does not appeal. I mean, but I know it works for other people because they don't want to have to think, and I get that. I mean, I take different, I can't imagine what that poor crew of folks must walk in on, because people it's not just in Vegas. I mean, people go on, go places, other places, and they just lose their fucking minds.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, basically, this one is more angled towards what the employees do when they're off duty. Because I've watched more than one Undercover Boss. I love that show, by the way, with cruise lines. And that looks like an incredibly hard life. Yeah. These people are away from their families. For months. Yes. Months
at a time. And then you have to work your way up to working to the passengers. First of all, you serve the other crew members. You're working 7 days a week. Yeah. You don't really get a day off.
Yes.
And it's just, I was like, oh my God, which is probably one of the other reasons I'm not particularly thrilled about cruises. I want to know that people there's no place to be off.
Right. Exactly.
But that's me. That's,
And they talk about, that, crew to crew sex is, happens. But it's so strictly forbidden with passengers that they take you off the boat the next day. Like they, and there's people telling their different stories. But they said, yeah, we see people humping in the public places all the time, which I'm sorry, when it became common for entire cruise ships of people to get sick from like the norovirus or whatever, I don't think I can bring myself to go on one, because if one person gets sick, it's like everybody's fucked.
The turnaround on these things is a few hours. You're telling me the sucker's clean?
Right. Right. And can you imagine, because this stuff is costly, there's usually flights plus the cruise plus, and time off. If I, took the time off work and went to do that and got sick, I'd be so devastated. I feel so bad when I read those stories.
Oh yeah. I spent quite a number of years ago on one of the trips I took down to Disney World with my daughter. We both ended up with strep. See, here I am, in the room with my daughter. Both of us were there for 2 days, sick as dogs. Before we, the last 2 days, I was calling. They were really good. They left the sheets and the towels outside in bags, and I took care of stuff and put it. Because I didn't want someone coming into the room. Mm-hmm. We were at a. They made sure that we had, the things they didn't have nearby. They went and got for us. Because I said, no, we're ill. You know what I discovered? Disney does not have an urgent care on their property.
What?
Why they do not have this, I don't know. To me, it seems like a spectacular concept.
Well, kids get sick all the time.
Yeah. So I'm fascinated by that. Maybe they do now. I didn't see what's going through there. But they are building private homes on there. Oh, God, okay. Just look up Disney World private homes. There's like 2 companies that are building homes starting at like $5 million and up. I'm telling you, money does not buy good decor. All of these places look like they're stuck in the 80s. It is hilarious.
And they're $5 million homes.
They start about 5 and they go up.
Okay. Who wants to live at Disney?
Because there was like Walt bought like 28,000 acres.
Okay.
So there's plenty of room. It's not like you're within view of the parks, and there's like a 4 Seasons there now, and they're building enough of that, and you'll have like, I don't know. I saw this, and I clicked on it. I was looking at some of these houses, and I'm like, oh.
And they're new?
Yeah, they're building them right now.
And they're throwbacks to the 80s. Ew.
I think so. They're these massive things. I was like, oh. Okay, really, if you just want like, if you want to, if you need a distraction about stupid shit, and you want to go, I'm telling you, just Google this up somewhere. It is hilarious.
Okay, I can't wait.
They've got some spec houses. They're building a bunch, and it's just they're hideous, just hideous.
I think the whole concept just is pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
But so is the idea of a SuperVagina kit for younger looking lady bits.
What?
Yeah. The skincare group Bare Derma has launched what they're calling the 4-piece vagical range, which claims to fix a host of problems and help your hoo-ha to look younger. So they've got purifying cleanser, bump-free scrub, calming mask. Like, who wants to put a mask on their vagina? Like, let's just talk about this.
Sounds like folks that maybe have just a whole bunch of ingrown or razor burn from shaving.
Yeah.
If you're running full bush, there's no place to put a mask.
That's what I'm thinking. And it's supposed to, it's for people that like to do the hair removal in various parts, but it's for that. But they're also saying it will tighten the skin and help the skin look better. It has whitening cream, which we've talked about ad nauseum. That sounds dangerous. Mm-hmm. It just does. And once again, I just, promoting just the fact, promoting the fact that yet another thing is wrong with the female body that you have to fix, which it's not. Yeah.
And 2, again, delicate tissues and putting stuff down there that you just don't need to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 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 So, don't know if I would do this, but God love the people who did. Article with photos. We'll post the link on the Great Northern Sexcast page. French nudists did naked yoga in a Paris park.
Was it like promoted? Is this like naked transit day and stuff like that to promote the fact that the human body is not obscene?
It was the Parisian Day of Naturism.
Oh, okay.
And they're bending and twisting and.
So in other words, it was well known, and so if you didn't want to see naked, you could avoid. Yeah, and it probably signed and stuff like that. They did have a sign
warning others. So, but there's some places where I don't think the sun should shine for me.
Yeah, I've when I was younger and I did some traveling to Europe, we were in France, and I went topless because you actually looked weird wearing a top. It was so ordinary. But there were some folks that did not put enough sunscreen on their boobs, and they burned. And
that would not be comfy.
And then there were other places I've been where there's been new beaches, and I'm thinking, parts of my body have never seen the sun. Mm-hmm. You'd have to work your way up to, up to that.
Yeah.
It's actually, it's just, I had enough sunscreen on just going down south, trying to figure out not to burn. I do not, I had enough problems. I did not need sunburn to be one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I do not want burnt areolas.
Yeah, no. Those are tender little suckers. Mm-hmm. I find this funny. I'm sure that, whatever. You know how big football / what we know as soccer in the United States is worldwide. Oh, yeah.
Everywhere we travel. Remember, I'm in a lot of places. I mean, I try very much to eat at non-chain places when we're traveling.
Yep.
In some exits, some small towns where we went, the only non-chain place there was a Mexican restaurant.
Oh, cool.
So I'm in the middle of Alabama eating Mexican.
Was it good?
Yeah, it's okay. Let's go through there. But every screen had on the World Cup.
Oh, yeah.
Or wherever, if we were in a place that had TVs.
Yeah.
It had the World Cup on.
And it makes me laugh, like American athletes, NBA, NFL, whatever, they have no idea. They're nothing compared to these international.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know enough. I mean, I'm not a big sports person. I mean, I understand the athleticism of it. I can't run for that long.
Oh.
And I prefer the women because I think they're less babies about it. Bleeding and they're still, I mean, guys, oh, God, that fell down, I hurt. I'm sorry, but that's the impression I'm getting, for at least that's what I get shown on the television, so I got to go with it.
Yep.
But it just everywhere. It was just on all over. We were walking around Epcot, and all the some of the, there's booze now.
Yep.
Actually, there's booze all over Disney World now, just in case you.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. And I'm such a sucker for something with a light up something in it. Okay, sorry. But the all over Epcot, wherever in all the places, every TV had the World Cup on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, so not surprisingly, there's a football club magazine called Arsenal, and the model that I can't pronounce the guy's name, so I'm not going to butcher it, but the latest edition showed this, this boss of this team on the front cover with his arms crossed. And you know how the magazine will have the name? Well, the guy's head covered 3 letters. So Arsenal looked like anal. It was immediately thrown up on Twitter, trolled worldwide, all over the place. And,
this was the first time they've ever put a larger-than-life portrait on the cover?
They didn't catch it, and it missed something in the sub-editing process.
Yeah, because when you're doing something like that, you know what it's supposed to say, and that's what you see. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it's their job to see it, which is what is mind-boggling about that. That's hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, yeah. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, I would frame it. Mm-hmm. I would frame it, and I would, whatever. Mm-hmm. But there's some pretty funny reactions to it, I'm just saying. So there's a link to the story. So there's all these, internet site chat places for any kind of imaginable group that you can have. And there's one of the sites for moms, that's out there. It's called Mumsnet. Mm-hmm. A woman gets on there and makes a post in a rant about complaining about her neighbors who have loud early morning sex. She goes, they usually have loud sex. It's the women we hear. And it's 8:30 in the morning, which I don't think that's very early, actually.
Nope. And you have kids that are already up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so she just went on this whole rant, and she was expecting support. Instead, the whole thing goes, good for them. And, why aren't you out of bed? What you just said, your kids are probably up. What are you doing? I mean, it did not have the desired effect at all. People were saying, cheer them, give them a round of applause, whatever. It's like, what is wrong with people? Why do you have to be such a fun sucker? Go in the other room. Get your ass up.
If this was 5:30 in the morning, I might say, that's a little early. But 8:30, I do not consider that early.
I don't either. I don't either. So I think I told you that I'm sure I mentioned this in previous weeks, that a Nevada brothel owner was running in a GOP primary there, and he actually bumped off a Republican in a state legislative primary.
Okay.
So he took the seat, and he's taken the whole Jesse Ventura, Donald Trump thing where I'm crushing the establishment, type of thing, only to find that the GOP brass in Nevada is snubbing him. Not embracing him as he had hoped.
No, they're not going to. I'm pretty sure that being pro-sex is not going to be part of their platform.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I just think in a year of bonfire of hypocrisies, that it would be pretty interesting to see if he turns them on their head. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm an anti-establishment person, so I kind of love it when outsiders go in and the machine doesn't know what to do. Like in this case, he won as a Republican. But so it's like, okay, let's watch them all fight it out now. It'll be just kind of entertaining. Who knows what will happen in the actual race. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm surprised he was surprised. FBI is saying, and this is actually a public service announcement, I guess this is going to turn into, sexual assault on aircraft is a federal crime, and it's on the rise. So there's a new campaign that have you heard about this? Mm-mm. Be Air Aware is the name of the campaign. And they're saying that the number of assaults reported on airplanes is increasing at an alarming rate. So honestly,
I think it's the reports that are increasing. I don't think it's the assaults.
That's probably true.
People now know that they don't have to put up with someone grabbing them on the plane.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, they're saying that, overnight flights are the worst. Alcohol is often involved, but there is an entire campaign. The only thing that bugs me is they're saying, well, we're targeting it towards women flying alone. And I'm just sitting here going, okay, I get it. But on the other hand, if
Why
you're a woman,
target it towards the guys, don't be an ass.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
No, that's what I was going. Yeah. I mean,
No, they do this. They do that all the time. It's not my job to not be assaulted. It's the other person's job to not assault.
Thank you. Well, and what?
Because let me guess, guys probably came up with this.
Yeah. Well, and the thing that gets me too is if you're a woman flying alone, I fly alone because I fly for business because I've got a great job, and which means I'm likely, not stupid or smart enough to take care of myself. So, talk to the assholes. Don't tell me it's my problem. Ugh, bugs me.
They haven't. They're almost there, and then they drop the ball. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I don't know how often or rampant strip clubs or strippers in strip clubs really offer extras outside of dancing. I don't really know.
No.
I have no way to know. I believe it probably does happen, but
I don't think it happens as much as people want to think it happens. Politicians regulating things or things going through. I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm not saying people don't. But I would guess it's not as, that dancing is dancing and the other thing's that thing. And then some folks, most folks probably keep it separate.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you're going to offer extras, you might want to make sure you know who your local city council members are before you make the offer. This occurred and resulted in the shuttering of a strip club. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Yeah.
I mean, city council races are boring as hell, but just good to know.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Mm-hmm. You weren't helping out your fellow workers by being that ignorant. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we always have disturbing dating trends, and there's another. Again, they're putting a name to something that's been around, but this one's called love bombing.
Okay.
Would you like to venture a guess as to what this is about?
Too much contact?
It's describes a person who goes over the top trying to woo a new partner.
Yeah.
Taking romance to where it literally becomes, oppressive.
Invasive. Yeah. You just immediately when someone does that, I just think, you don't know me enough to do this.
Right.
It's too much. It's desperate. It's overbearing. It's stalkerish. It is bad.
And it's usually carried out by people that are control freaks. Mm-hmm. And they try to do it that way. And then once they think that they've got you, whatever. There's a whole article about it in Psychology Today. Oh, yeah. Love bombing.
And there's nothing, and thing is, it's not a female thing or a male thing. It just, anyone can be that horribly aggressive.
Yeah. And I like this.
Yeah, it's abusive.
You were weird today. You were like, you're saying everything just as I'm opening my mouth to say it, you're saying it. It's freaking me out, Colleen. But the line is from the article, one definition of abuse is that which violates personal boundaries. I was just going to say, there it is. So watch out for love bombing. But yeah, we'll post this article. It's pretty interesting. And I don't know, did you ever... I know that you've been really open with your daughter about, and you found some sites that you thought were awesome for her when she was younger and things like that. Do you ever talk to her about stuff like that?
Yeah, but really? I have. I just said, someone you don't, someone is too much there. It's too much. They don't know you. That's been part of the conversation. Yeah.
And does she? I'm just kind of curious what her take is.
Yeah,
she
sort of listens, and I think she takes in some of it. And I got to keep it. It's only a few sentences here and there. And other than that, you start with the old mom and the eye rolls, and I know and stuff like that.
So like when to stop to be effective.
Well, I don't know if I know when. I just know.
There's a line.
Yeah, I know there's a line. I usually jump over it and then I stop. I don't think I've ever managed to stop before that line. But
that's a really, interesting side of it. That I would think that I would, everybody can look back and say, gosh, I wish my parents would have taught me this. Not that our parents did a bad job.
No, I mean, they did what they knew at the time and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Well, that's a great topic if you've got kids to start on anything. I mean, gosh, 4th of July always makes me think of Love American Style. Did you ever watch that show?
Oh, God, it was hilarious. I think you can still find it here and there. I don't know if it's still on one of them, but I remember seeing it on some, streaming service, and it just made me crack up.
It really...
You want to watch, it's like you watch a few of them, you're like, oh, this doesn't hold up to watch the whole series, but a couple of episodes is damn funny.
Yeah, yeah. Some of them are still pretty funny, but it's got the fireworks. So may you have many fabulous fireworks inside and out of your bedroom.
Sounds good.
Love the Great Northern Sex Cast.